Hey everybody, welcome back. This is Conscious Life Expo pre-interviews and back in the studio, or back on the screen we should say.
Yeah.
We make this a yearly event now, right?
Yeah, it's nice. We have an incredible woman with us, Xpnsion. She is a powerhouse speaker and presenter of not only her own experience, but assisting others on their experiences into consciousness and awakening. And we have the pleasure of knowing her from some other interviews and some other interactions. And we want to invite all of you to come out, of course, to the Conscious Life Expo, check out her workshops, check out her presentations, and get to know everything that she does. We're going to give you a sampling of all that she does here in this conversation. So sit back and enjoy a little cup of tea with us as we get into a great conversation with her. Thanks so much for being with us.
Well, hello. Thank you for having me. It's such a pleasure to see you guys again. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. This crazy year, right, that everybody has been kind of waiting for and unraveling for everybody. We're so excited to have you at the Conscious Life Expo. Let's start this conversation in case people out there are not familiar with you. What do you do?
Well, I am an alchemist by trade. I am a hybrid extrasensory, intuitive, and basically that means I have come into this realm with pre-incarnate memory. And that's a mouthful, and I will be going into that, diving into an explanation of what that is, how it's relevant, and what that means to my work at the expo. But with that memory is the ability to pierce through the veil and kind of extrapolate ascension, which is what I'm talking about, and which is my life's work. Raising our consciousness, moving into that vibe for the next level, the next phase of our humanity, so to speak. So.
Right, and thank you for that, because you know, people, I try to make light of some of the way we describe ourselves to people, and that some people might be sitting out there going, "What does that mean? You know, who is that?" And they're a little afraid to ask that question. So I'm like, well, okay, what is it that's relevant for that? So you've been doing this for a while. Let's talk about that. We want to talk about your books too a little bit. So let's have this conversation.
And she has a show.
I know,
too.
yeah. And so, how long have you been doing this for audiences and assisting people, Lexa?
Over a decade, I've been doing this privately and eased into it publicly, I would say about 6 years ago. And I've been doing conferences and keeping private clientele, maintaining that on the side, and publishing books and you name it. And now I have a show that's called the Divine Matrix channel with different shows, extrapolating out all this material that I've been bringing in. And it's heady stuff, man. I mean, this is big information that I'm bringing in, that you guys are bringing in, and we're all getting to the same point from different directions, in my opinion. I think we're all talking about the same thing from different angles. And going back to the new year, though, I have to say that 2020 has felt lighter, hasn't it? Just felt great just to be in this energy, because the last 2 years, have you ever had that dream where you feel like you're running and you're not getting anywhere? You're running and it's just heavy and it's thick. Well, that's been that Saturnian Pluto conjunct energy. And the minute we got close to 2020, it kind of just, it opened up. And what I found myself doing for the last 8 months is taking a step back, kind of reevaluating everything I was doing and all the material and everything I was teaching. And I said, you know what? I'm a little discouraged because I've got all of this information and it's huge. And you guys know what I'm talking about. There's no words, there's no definition for what you have in your consciousness to share. And your job is to distill it down into some sort of a 3D language, right? And that's so hard. It's almost impossible. So I pulled back and I got discouraged and I thought, what am I doing? But instead I took just walking away from it. I took a mirror and I became very self-reflective about it. And I said, what am I doing wrong? What am I doing in my presentations that I need to shift. So I did. I took 7 months. I really got into the material and everything shifted. So I distilled everything down to a very simple message. And I'm so excited about bringing it to Conscious Life Expo. I think people will really get it. They'll understand it. And it's a palatable way of understanding something that's so incredibly heady, you know? Yeah.
Thank you for that description. I mean, yes, I'm sitting here, as you can see me, nodding and supporting you.
It's good to know that other people have been kind of other practitioners
we had a
experienced the same thing we've been going through and trying to figure. How do you take your information and take it to the masses?
Yeah.
And they're, darn good and well, they're not gonna. I mean, I'm not meaning this in a bad way, but the majority of them aren't going to understand what you're trying to explain to them.
Yeah, yeah. And we had a great description of that, which is manifestation has been a grind, what we call the grind of manifestation. Then all of a sudden, this little flow opened up and you're like, what? Whoa, wait. I mean, with the connections that are clicking and coming through, and I'm like, oh my gosh, and this is flowing and this is flowing. Even with, of course, thankfully for our own stuff as well, I agree with you 1,000%, 1,000,000% in the recalibration. Same thing, we've been doing our thing for a little over about a dozen years, and trying to find that tangible, understandable messaging component for the masses. And and it's coming together, which is really fantastic. And thankfully, people like yourself, Alexa, are hanging in there and sticking in there with us and with other practitioners, instead of saying, you know what, I'm just out. I can do something else, and I've done my time. And but this platform, this energy flow, is an incredible thing. Everybody, I haven't spoken to anybody who hasn't contributed their affirmations on that, which is really fantastic. So let's talk about your workshops. I know you've got more than one. I want to know when they are. I want to know what room they're in. And I want you to tell us what you're going to be talking about, please.
Well, happy to share that. Let's see. I have a workshop on Saturday I had to write it down. It gets a little confusing. Let's see. Dear Xpnsion, you're not difficult. That is going to be my unveiling of some really simple, intuitive ways of accessing what we call ascension. And I don't like that word. I wish we could shift that out to something that's less big or unapproachable, But I'm going to be doing my actual energetic work, the activations. There's 3 of them that I'm going to be sharing with the audience, which I'm so excited about. And that's going to be in the Century Room from, 12 to 1:30 Saturday. And then on Sunday, I've got Ascension Hiding in Plain Sight, and that is from 12 to 12:45, followed by the panel, and that is going to be the Visionary Superconscious panel. And there are some huge biggie people on that panel. I'm very, very excited. So that'll be great. 5:30, 7:30, and I think that wraps up the expo for me. So
let's talk. If you don't, have you got your books with you handy by chance?
You know what? I shipped them all to the expo. They're gone. I have nothing in front of me. I'm so sorry. Everything is gone.
We understand.
But let's talk about them. Tell everybody your books, please. They're available on Amazon, and a little bit about what they're about.
Yes, it's the 0 Point series, and there are 2 books right now in the series. And as I mentioned earlier, I put the pause on publishing more. There are 9 in the series, and I'm holding off on the 3rd installment until I can really dig deep into this material and make sure everyone can wrap their head around the basics of ascension and what I'm trying to say, and not get distracted by all the other things that we can get distracted by. And so it's a woman's cosmic journey with star beings, and the divine matrix. So I will be at booth 511. We're doing a book signing directly following the panel. And if you're interested in any information drilling down on what those books are about, because the titles are pretty obvious, star beings, a journey with ascension, the duality of this planet, earthly experiences, non-earthly experiences, but basically it's just about really finding your way, your mission, and your challenges, earthly and not so earthly, and overcoming those challenges to live a more authentic life and overcoming fear and moving into love. That is what it's all about. And you can visit alexaperson.com, Alexa person, person.com. All my socials are there. You can connect on everything and read in detail about that. So.
Well, of course, Alexa's a great lady, as you can see, even just her energy. We want to invite all of you to visit her website and check out her books. We have her books. Actually, I passed your books off to our production manager, Sue, because she was really, really hungry to read those. We love her books. You got to pick up the books. I mean, we just tell everybody, you got to get books, right? I mean, we have so many people that have such great information out there. You can't get enough of that. And it all really supports all of the information out there. But what's so great is you get these aha moments, these pings where you're like, oh, right, now I know what that meant, or I knew what that meant, or, now I can fully grasp, an even broader concept for ourselves. So we love the books that everybody puts out, right?
Yeah, we have a little library here at our retreat center, and everybody goes into the library when they're not busy doing their own thing, and they grab stuff out of the library, and some people take them until the next event.
Yeah, and of course, I'm a fan because of who I channel with Julius. We love hearing and talking to people that have these interactions with these other beings, and they're, am I able to say, and they're not presenting it as a fear-based thing. I'll just leave it at that, okay?
So important. That is what I'm trying to help people understand, that it's get out of that resistance and out of that fear, because the minute we release that, that's when the beautiful stuff starts coming in. Move above that resistance of the fear. That place of fear is the biggest obstacle we have in this realm.
So much love out there. My personal experiences is that's really the conveyance of the messages, is that it's about love. It's about expanding ourselves. And to hear stories like Alexa's and to see her in person and to experience her presentations, you're going to leave this workshop not only in a higher frequency, a higher state of activation, a more open mind, which is the answer for everything for you to continue your journey with, but also just that real inspiration from this woman, this very successful, very intelligent, very, very, for lack of vocabulary, real woman. She's not this weird thing walking around. I mean, I say that with love, okay? Because I think people are afraid of that. They're afraid of thinking that if they open up their consciousness, they're going to get weird and they're going to fall out of their life somehow, or they're going to fall out of the things that they love. And that's not true. You get to meet these people who are in full integration of this space into this life, and we want you to be inspired by that, right? You're laughing at me. I'm allowed to say those things. They understand what I mean, right?
It's our show. We can do whatever we want. It's funny because you feel like you have to tiptoe sometimes around those things, and I think if anything, Alexa is the classic example of the change that's coming about, that we're not going to tiptoe anymore. Either you guys get it or you don't, but we've got a job to get done, and we're going to teach it to people, and those that are ready to jump on the bus, they can jump on the bus, and those that aren't, well, you can wait till the next one comes.
Right.
Well, and you bring up a really good point, and that's attachment, because I think when we do what we do, we can't have attachment to outcomes. This is what we're going to teach. I don't care if it's one person, 1,000, 100, whatever, we're going to do it, whether anyone likes it or not. And I don't, you can judge me or not. It's none of my business. What you think of me is none of my business. So when you present in that space of love and in gratitude for whatever happens, I think that's when real change happens. And you empower others to live their most authentic life as well. So I'm very grateful to be speaking with you today, because I know that's how you guys work and present, and you have to when you're in this space, because if you have to become the viewer of yourself, unattached of your higher self, and just allow and just be in that space. And there's a lot of love, trust, and faith involved in that for yourself and your mission, and just releasing it and throwing it up and going, okay, here I am. Let's just do this thing.
Well, Alexa, thank you so much for being yourself. We really enjoy our conversations with you. Can't get enough of them. Always projecting out that we get to spend more and more time with you. Again, tell our viewers one more time, please, your website and how to connect with you as we leave this conversation.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And you feel free to connect with me on all of my socials. Everything I do is in one convenient place, alexaperson.com, ALEXAPERSON.com. Everything you need to know is right there. And I do hope I see you all at Conscious Life Expo in February.
Thanks everyone for being with us. Always checking our Xpnsion network out. We want to thank them for allowing for programming like this. And please direct yourselves energy field towards Alexa. She's incredible. We're going to see all of you out at the Conscious Life Expo, right?
Yep.
Come by our booth. That's booth 450. Check out the network and all the cool stuff that's going on. Try not to be overwhelmed at the conference. We're sending everybody balanced energy for all of that. And we'll see you there.